Hey crafty friends, things are getting a little spooky around here. Today we are going to sew this beginner-friendly felt spider plushie. This is a great project for kids with a little bit of adult supervision or anyone who wants just a simple hand sewing project that can be put together fairly quick and easily. I have a free pattern on my website below. It is linked in the description, so go ahead, click that link, print your pattern, gather your supplies, come back here, and we'll sew this together. To sew this spider felt plushie, you're going to need the following supplies. Some felt in the color that you want your spider. I am using white for the fangs up here and black for the rest of it. Scissors to cut out your felt, something to trace your pattern with, something to sew. This is embroidery floss, which is just thicker thread. It works a little better for me. If you just have normal thread, that will work too. A needle to sew with. Again, this is an embroidery needle. It has a little bit of a bigger eye right here. A normal needle will work fine if you are using normal thread. If you are using embroidery floss, you are going to want a needle that's got this bigger eye. Something to stuff your plushie with. This is polyfill. It's what's used in most stuffed animals. It can be found at the craft store. You can also use felt scraps. So these bits that I cut off at the end for a pattern that I haven't finished work really good as filler. I've also used cotton balls, cut up plastic bags, kind of whatever you have around. And finally, the pattern. Again, there's a link to it on my website in the description below. So go ahead, click that link, print your pattern for free, cut your pattern out, and come back here and I'm going to give you a few tips as you're tracing it before you start cutting out your pattern. Once you have your pattern pieces cut out, it's time to start tracing. So as you're putting your pattern pieces down to trace them, don't just toss them in the middle of your felt. Put them as close to the edge as you can. This will just maximize your felt for future projects. And all of these that say cut to or have words on the front, you're going to trace them one time on the side with the words, and then you're going to flip it over and you're going to trace it on the back side the second time. This will just make our pattern line up a little more nicely when we're sewing it together. So I'm going to do the spider's body and all of his legs on black, and then again I'm going to do these fangs on white. So go ahead, trace your patterns, pause the video, and then come back here and let me give you a few instructions before we start cutting them out. Once you have all of your pattern pieces traced, it's time to start cutting them out. As you're cutting them out, just go real slow and steady. Try and cut with small snips, and do your best to cut off your tracing line. Hang on to any of your felt scraps because again, these are great for filling up the center of your plushie. So go ahead, pause the video, and carefully cut out all your pieces, and then come back here and we will piece this together. Once you have all your pattern pieces cut out, it's time to start sewing. So grab your sewing needle and your embroidery floss, thread your needle, and we are going to tie a knot in one end of this thread. I'm just doing a simple loop knot, keeping my finger over it to keep it in place. I would take a second and lay out your spider legs the way that you want them to be. I have a set of curved ones at the bottom and a set of curved ones on the middle up, and then some longer ones. We're just going to place our whole spider together, and we are going to put this first stitch right here behind this first leg. So I have a little bit of a spider sandwich right here, and I am putting my needle through both pieces of felt, pulling it. Ooh, you're gonna have to be careful with these spider legs. Pulling it almost to the end here, and then I'm sticking my needle kind of in the middle of this bundle of threads, pulling it out, and then I'm going to take this little tail, I'm just going to push it into my spider body. Alright, now I'm going to take off this half of legs right now because I think it's going to make it a little bit easier for me to sew. I'm going to leave this other half here, and I am going to pinch my spider sandwich, and we are going to do what's called a running stitch. For a running stitch, you're going to go in through all three pieces of felt, so the top of your spider body, the back of the spider body, and the legs, and then you're going to go all the way through, and then we're going to go just back through, down a little bit the other way, pull that through. Your legs are getting tangled up in it, just slide them off to the side. I'm just going to take this leg out for now. Maybe I'll take the top one out too. So these two bottom legs in first, and then we'll work our way up. We're going to do that again. Go up, and then down. And up. And down. All right, I have my first set of legs attached. I'm going to pause right here. I'm going to re-put in my second set. Setting in the second set of legs. And I'm just going to continue that running stitch. All right, so now I have all my legs on this side attached. I am going to keep an eye on where I want these fangs to be. And around this head until I get there, I'm going to do what's called a blanket stitch. So now, instead of just doing up and down, I'm going to go through both pieces of felt, and I'm going to grab this tail where it came out, and I'm going to put it over the top of my needle and pull that all the way through. And then I'm going to go down a little bit, go from the same direction as my first, through both pieces of felt, grab the tail, pull it over. Through both pieces of felt, grab the tail, pull it over. All right, and now I have reached my spider's fangs. I'm going to go back to that in and out running stitch. I'm going to start from the top, make sure I'm getting all three pieces. Now those fangs are attached. I'm going to do that blanket stitch again around the side of his head. I'm going to go through both pieces of felt, grab that bottom, loop it over the top of my needle, pull it through. Through both pieces of felt, grab the tail end, pull it through. Through both pieces of felt, tail end, pull it through. Okay, so now I've got my head sewn. I am going to take my second set of 2 spider legs, put them in. All right, and then it's back to the in and out running stitch to attach these legs. All right, top 2 legs are attached. Time to attach the bottoms. So we're going to continue that running stitch right here until the edge of this leg, and then we're going to pause and we're going to stuff it before we sew it closed. Now I'm going to take these felt scraps and we want to stuff the furthest away things first. So as we go in, you want to try and get that head. If your scraps are feeling too big, you can chop them up even a little smaller. I usually use scissors or a pencil to try and get all the way down to far away places. I am all out of felt, so I am going to use a little bit of this polyfill. Put it in the middle. Once you have your spider stuffed, pull that last stitch tight, and we're going to continue with a blanket stitch around the end. So again, for this, you want to be careful that you're just getting your edges of felt, that you're not getting your filling from the inside. But you're going to go through both pieces of felt. Grab the edge of your string, pull it all the way through. Top and bottom felt. You might have to keep pushing your filler in as you go. You can reposition it once it's sewn all the way closed. Right now, just try and push it up and deep into your spider. Get the 2 edges of felt, grab the tail end, put it over the top of the needle, pull it through. Final stitch right here, I'm going to wrap it not just once over the top, I'm going to wrap it twice to help it knot. I'm going to keep my finger on it as I'm pulling the needle through so that knot stays right against the spider's body. Pull it tight, and then I'm carefully going to poke this needle into my spider and over. Pull my string all the way through it. Then I'm going to put my scissors right against the string, pull it a little bit and snip. And we have a spider. One more completely optional step that I think is kind of fun is to get some string and make our spider a little web to hang from. So I am getting a piece this time of white embroidery floss. I am tying, again, a loop knot here at the end, pulling it tight. I've got that little tail. And then I'm just going to poke it right through the back of this spider. Pull this thread all the way through, almost to the end. Put my needle through it and pull it tight. You can trim off this little bit extra if you want. I'm gonna knot this one more time, so I'm gonna go through it. And I'm gonna wrap the tail of this once, twice, over the top. Put my thumb to hold it in place. Pull it through just one more time so it doesn't slip out. And now I have something to hang my spider from. And there we have it, our finished spider felt plushie. This was such a fun project for me. I hope you had a good time too. If you like this or you want more free, fun patterns and sew-alongs, be sure to come back next Monday. I will have another brand new pattern ready to sew together. And if you enjoyed this, be sure to like, follow, subscribe, all the things. I can't wait to see you. Thanks for sewing with me.